call it the Ramon Foster Show for a reason. Actually, a couple of reasons. First off, he actually is Ramon Foster. He is the 11-year National Football League starting guard. All 11 of those as a starter, all 11 of those as a Pittsburgh Steeler. Look at that. He had the shirt ready to go and everything.
Just worked out. Yes, absolutely.
I liked it too. And it was in symmetry with my symbiotic introduction here. Other reason that it's the Ramon Foster Show is that he figures out what he's going to talk about on the Ramon Foster Show. And man, does he have a subject for us today. This is really cool.
I do, man.
I want to hear this. And no. I heard it just now. I want everybody to hear this. It's good.
And it's derived from golf. Let's just start there first, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about Oakmont in the US Open, and I was just like, what a blue-collar type of golf course that was, man, where you had to really work for a win. Only one person finished under par, and that was the winner, J.J. Spawn.
Took a 64.5-foot putt.
The guy is 34 years old, first time winning a major, right? And 25th ranked in the country. It is Pittsburgh as Western PA as it can get. Fair, DK? What happened?
Oh, yeah. We weren't giving that up to any Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, or any of these other names. No, we found some dude.
Basically an undrafted
4.5 feet and in the rain.
In the rain,
the course is soaking wet. The ball is kicking up water as it's rolling toward the hole.
So it made me think, man, of like just how blue collar Pittsburgh is, what it takes to. I don't think it's a survival thing in Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh people are unique. The city is unique, DK. It's a grinder's mentality. Is that fair to say?
It's been fair to say for about 200 years now. Yep.
And I got to somewhat give credit to certain places too, and that's Baltimore, Cleveland, and Cincinnati. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because I'm bringing this back to where we ended the conversation before we started this show. And is the AFC North is essentially the same to me as what Oakmont was. It's blue collar. It's rough. It's hard. You got to fight and scrap to make it out of it. It's the way I look at it. And I bring that up because can a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers handle the North play?
He just went there.
Yeah. Can he handle the North and the play that comes along with it? Where if they ever sign Trey Hendrickson, he's going to hit you, right? Baltimore's got rusher after rusher. They're going to hit you, right? We've already got Myles Garrett saying he's digging a hole in his graveyard for Aaron Rodgers.
He did say this.
And the reason I bring that up is like winning in the AFC North isn't just about who's got the best athletes. It's about who's the toughest too. And can Aaron Rodgers survive 18 weeks with the new schedule set up now with the bye week? 18 weeks of all of that, plus what it takes to be ground and pound in the AFC North, because Ben got beat up. We're watching Lamar Jackson get beat up. We've seen all these quarterbacks in Cincinnati get beat up, and Joe Burrow too. Right? And what as young as this offensive line is, as much as I feel about what their potential is, they're still young, and they got to protect against those demons on those other three teams in the AFC North. What is Aaron Rodgers going to be like if he get beat to shreds, right? In one or two of those games? Because one thing I think we all appreciate now, Mr. Roethlisberger, he kept getting up.
Heck, right? They were bouncing off of him in the early stages.
Like he kept getting up, and that's something at 41 years old. I'm not sure if Aaron Rodgers understands. Like I think the NFC North is tough as heck right now, especially with the way Detroit is playing. You look at what Chicago has also, and Minnesota's got a solid enough defense. But I look at this situation and say to myself, it takes a lot to make it out mentally. We saw last year at times where the Jets were out, and Aaron Rodgers went to the sideline, put his ball cap on, and just, the day was done. And I believe he has that championship mindset in his head. But DK, it's one thing to believe that I can run a 4.4. It's another thing when I line up and run it. You know what I'm saying? So that to me is part of it. And I'll even go a little bit further, because if you guys have seen Cam Hayward's clip that's been circulating on social media, shout out to Cam, and Joey Porter too, senior, had an amazing conversation about his dust up that he had with the Cincinnati Bengals, to where he went to compliment Vontaze Burfict, and Joey said, there it was right there. It was the cardinal sin. Here I was trying to compliment somebody in the AFC North, a Cincinnati Bengal, And he found himself in the middle of everything, DK, as it pertains to him basically getting bullied on the field as a coach. That's our division. It's special, DK. Under that post that Cam had, it was players from other divisions that was just like, I love the hate that you. It was Cam Jordan, the potential future Hall of Famer himself. He's like, I love that you hate your rivals. Like, that's how serious it is. And like, for me, that's where I think the separator of the guys that play in Pittsburgh and Baltimore and Cincinnati and Cleveland, it's just different, DK.
How different is it from all the time that he spent, in his old division for 18 years?
Here's the thing. He ran it.
Yeah.
He ran it. It was his. Detroit. What is Detroit up until 5 years ago?
Oh, it was trash until now.
Exactly. Who else did he have to bargain with? Like, Chicago couldn't get it together. Minnesota was hot and cold in the same sentiment. Like, we talk about Tom Brady in the AFC East. Like, Aaron Rodgers had like a very similar pathway at Green Bay for a very long time.
Yeah, I can see this argument because, not to bring up the offensive line for the millionth time, the Steelers' offensive line, they're the ones who can mitigate this. They're the ones who can make this difference. But how is it that Rodgers, actually weathers this? When he was with the Jets last year, he took his beatings. And I know that he made it through all 17 starts and everything, but the list of injuries that he had along the way, the things that he was even he was even said to be like hiding some stuff from his coaches and stuff just so that he could get onto the field, which is commendable and everything, but it has an impact nonetheless. Okay. So what does he do in the AFC North? What does he do the first time somebody gets back there? One of those guys, if it's a Myles Garrett, if it's a Trey Hendrickson, if it's anybody on the Baltimore side, Roquan, and they get back there and it's like, oh, geez, they weren't kidding. This is different.
This is where Father Time takes over, and also just the preservation of himself too. DK, does he get down? Like I know there were times over the course of the games where Ben would tell us, fellas, I need time. I'm a little banged up right now. Like, I say this out of respect for those guys because I want them to grow up, but like, is that group mature enough to understand what that means? How you're supposed to do that? The side-to-side help that you employed to go help your left guard, your right guard, and the tackles, and in between, DK. And also, is this a point to where Aaron knows that, like, I'll do my thing as a quarterback, but whatever Arthur Smith is calling, I got to run that. Because I'm not sure what his athletic ability still is, DK, as it pertains to him being a wizard or Houdini, getting out of those bad moments and not taking those hard hits.
Well, the number one thing that I would say to this, actually, it would be the number two thing. The number one thing would be the offensive line. Okay. If you want to avoid getting, crushed by Hendrickson or Garrett or whatever, let's get some blocks out of Broad.
Yeah. No, seriously.
Okay? I mean, it's not that complicated.
Yeah.
But if you're looking from his perspective and you say, all right, I'm going to have to take one of these and I'm going to have to show what I'm doing and everything. And it's going to happen. Yeah. He's not going to see a rush. There's going to be one of those weird convergences around him. And then someone comes at the last second. There's nothing anybody can do. The one thing that he can control for the most part is the one thing that he has controlled over the past couple of seasons. There's a chart. I saw this just a couple of days ago of release times. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you can speak to this one because you had a quarterback that worked off the same chart when he came back, from 2019. The release time chart was around 3 point something seconds. And then like this, it was all of a sudden it was 1.4. It was like snap throw, volleyball setters.
That was Coach Haley's main task when he came and protect Ben. Find a way to get to facilitate this offense to get the ball out of his hand. So we had an opportunity to block our guys, get better at it, get a feel for it, and understand the anxiety of it. But like, we got an offense that was quick. And now, you know why that worked though too, DK? Because we had the weapons to get it done. And that's where it also becomes, I don't want to call it problematic, but it's questions as to who are going to be the playmakers that you can say, you know what, within 1 second of getting the snap, the ball is gone. Who is winning there, DK? That's the other side of it too. So it is a point to be said. Like if Arthur Smith's in a position where he can get the ball out of his hands as quick as he possibly can, what happens if the guy's covered up? That's when it becomes a bigger issue too. DK is most athletes never think their athletic ability is gone, and that's where you need for him to be safe. This is also it's always mental.
It's you want to hear a funny story?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's real short. But I had gone a long time and had a back injury and wasn't able to play deck hockey. And I come back after about, I don't know, this was 7-8 years. And first time, it's forecheck, send the ball into the offensive zone. And I see the ball. Okay. I lay eyes on that thing. And I go to do what I'd always done, which is to run.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I just start moving, and my eyes are going at this speed.
Yeah.
And the rest of me is going, and I almost literally, she was there and saw it, ended up on my face.
Wow, DK.
And it's incredible how that happens. Like your brain is telling you to do the things that you've always done.
But your body,
and it ain't happening.
But your body is absolutely in a different place, man. Last year, Aaron Rodgers, if it's stated correctly, took 40 sacks. Some of it's probably him rolling out of the pocket.
Doesn't matter, man.
But let's think exactly. That means he was under, you know what I'm saying, under stress in those moments too.
He was sacked 40 times.
40 times is what I just looked up. Yeah,
I
just
did
with
not
him.
know that.
Yeah, just with him, DK. Re-looking it up right now. Aaron Rodgers.
And he had the third fastest average release time in the NFL. Yeah, how brutal that offensive line
40 sacks
must have been.
Oh yeah. But so let's play devil's advocate to this group. What is I guess the outlook for this group? We talked about it last week. They got the talent. They checked that box right there. But what they don't have is the experience. That's also for my guy Broderick Jones too, who's going into his third year, DK. Like he's also switching sides, right? The best thing that can happen for him is for him to lean on Isaac Seumalo. But the idea that he is expected and has been wanting to be the guy, like there's pressure in that. Can he handle that? Will he deliver the goods in that moment too? Like Troy Fautano on the front side, I somewhat worry less about. It is mostly for me, Broderick.
It is.
How does he handle it? And will he also allow it to just snowball too? Because I felt like he had a little bit of that last year with his inability to finish plays. Now you can tell me, well, it's because he wanted to play on the left side. And I would say bull crap, right?
So would he.
Yeah. And that's just what it was though, DK. But the health of Aaron Rodgers, like almost any quarterback, for instance, is real. But I also double down and say the health of your quarterback in the AFC North is a whole lot different. And there's a whole lot more pressure from a franchise standpoint, DK, because I don't know how much is wagered on Aaron being the guy or the decision to sign him, right? I don't know if there's somebody say, I'm banging on the table. He's my guy. I want him in. But what I am saying is it feels as if this comes from a spot of there was only one guy and you got him. So if it doesn't work out, whose head will get chopped off? So that's where I'm at on that one.
That's how that goes. Before we take a break, I have a related question for you on this. Mm-hmm. If I recall correctly, you have mixed feelings on the subject of a tackle getting help. And yet the Steelers have a tight end who refers to himself as the sixth man.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's larger than life. Okay. Darnell Washington he's a ridiculous human. Mm-hmm. He's the one guy that can walk up to DK Metcalf and say, excuse me. he wouldn't do that, but you know what I'm saying?
I know.
Okay. So if you have Darnell,
yeah,
and Darnell has been that guy, and he just loves the role.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you utilize Darnell for, 50 snaps a game instead of just, these cameo appearances in the in the big packages. Why wouldn't you do that? And if only to, are you putting training wheels on Broad by doing that? Are you making him a lesser lineman by giving him help? Or are you just saying, listen, you are what you are. We got to win these games. We got to keep our quarterback vertical. Is that a tough call?
It ain't. It's not, DK, but here's the issue. So it's got legs to it a little bit for me.
Okay. I know. I seem to remember that you had a pretty strong feeling about this.
It has legs to it for me. First is this. Is Broderick's skill set, meaning what he was born with, going to allow him, DK, to be this eccentric out there on the football field? Meaning, if he's also out there, can we not have the offense be one-dimensional where he's only a line of scrimmage guy, right? That's part of it too. Can he get open? Is he a guy that's got good hands? Does the quarterback want to go to him? Is there also a position that you take off the field for a guy like him? Are you telling me you're making less of Pat Fryermuth to make more of him because of his size? And I think the answer is probably, if you're going to go that route, you're lessening what Pat Fryermuth is. And then if you're also lessening him, that means that you're also in a position where your wide receivers aren't getting what they need. I think when you have a guy like him, if he's in, Pat is probably in, which means you're probably taking a wide receiver off the field too. And then
there's that. I mean, that's a real thing.
Because it shortens the playbook. How many plays can you have for Broderick? That's the issue. You know when Broderick's coming in, somebody's about to get, we're either max protecting or we're about to run the football, right? Those are the things you're getting yourself into. How many times has he found himself open to where you say he deserves more? So his history doesn't allow that to happen unless this is a new page in the playbook for him. So what has him on the field more, DK, is something that a lot of guys don't like to do, because when you find success at where you are, you leave it alone. Let's just say the rumors were Broderick was close to 285. Can Broderick be Broderick? I mean, not Broderick. Can Darnell Washington?
Darnell. Mm-hmm.
Can Darnell Washington be Darnell Washington at 265?
Oh, geez. Okay. Well,
what I'm saying is this: for him to be on the field, there may have to be a body transformation as far as dropping weight.
There might be, but you know what's funny? I could throw this right back at you and go to one of your teammates and good friends and cite him and say, if you walked up to Chooks Okorafor and Chooks had lost 20 pounds, would you even bleeping notice?
Would I notice with him?
Yeah.
Probably
no,
not.
Because of how he carries the weight. I knew you were going to say that. Okay. That's Darnell.
Okay.
Okay. You look at Darnell, he could add 20 pounds, lose 20 pounds on alternating days, and you wouldn't notice it because he's monstrous. He's big boned, big shouldered, big everything. Okay. That's a different kind of something. Now, Darnell also has, I believe, he has the natural strength and athleticism to be able to go out for passes, to make the catch. The only issue that I've been told, now this one is not my own observation, but this one comes from the inside, which means it should mean more.
It definitely means more.
Yeah, exactly. Because these are football lifers. I'm not that. Darnell, he'll make the catch. What he won't do is come down onto his feet in an athletic position. So there has to be a process of, okay, I've caught the ball. So what's step 2 here?
Yeah.
And by the time you do that, it's not college. Okay.
They're there already.
You don't have, they're already on you. Okay. Yeah. Even if you were college open, you're about to be NFL closed.
Yeah, you are. Fast. And they're going to chop your legs down too at the same time.
And there's a lot of target there.
Yeah. So to the point of like him being close to like him being a red zone threat, DK, heck yeah.
Yep.
Heck yeah. Or coming out too. Like if you're on your own 5-yard line and you're trying to do a play action, bootleg or something like that, there's that for him, because to your point, who wants to tackle him in the flats? Right? Especially when he's come out of the bootleg and he's got his momentum going. So there's that part too. But in the middle of the field, utilizing him more in the pass, probably not going to happen because it slows the offense down. If this was DK 2004, easy. Who's the big tight end? Algie Crumpler? Oh,
Oh, geez. That's unfair to even mention him.
Come on.
Oh, my God.
We're talking about Algie Crumpler era right here, man. And that's the other side, too. Mike Jones bring up something as far as Darnell goes. Just throw it up to Mount Washington. Can he get off the line of scrimmage and get open?
Yes, he still has to do that. He still has to run the route precisely. He still has to show all the requisite athleticism in every single phase of that sequence.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that he can't do it. Okay. I'm not in the business of doubting somebody that size. Okay.
Right,
in general, in life.
No.
Okay.
No.
But he is, man, let's put it this way. Let's be positive here.
Yes.
Okay?
Go ahead.
Can you imagine what he could mean
no doubt
to the Steelers?
Absolutely.
Everyone's and I'm doing this too, fussing over WR2. Who's going to replace George Pickens' line? Is it going to be Calvin Austin? Is it going to be Roman Wilson? Do they have to go to the outside? My belief is they still have to go to the outside. Yeah. I believe internally that they believe that they have to go to the outside. But when you have Rodgers now as your quarterback, and Rodgers brings up, by the way, Darnell unsolicited in his conversation with us.
Awesome.
Do you see that? He said that's Mercedes, man. I just look at him and I think of Mercedes. Well, I bet you do.
That's a big body.
Every quarterback wants that little bit of extra protection in there, but as long as you're out there, you can also be a passing option for me.
You can. Yeah, it's a blanket. It keeps you warm at night, DK.
It's both things. It's all things to all quarterbacks.
I say all that to say this too, DK. I think Darnell's going to be in that league for a very long time. I think at minimum 8 years, if not longer, because somebody's going to need that service. If he's no longer with the Steelers at some point in time, somebody's going to bring him in to be an enforcement as far as their second or third tight end because of what he possesses with his natural size and ability, though. Now, his agility, that's DK the separator.
Jay Moods asks a question before we go to break here. Can he high point? Okay, let's say this. He starts off.
Yeah.
Okay, his default mode is a high point.
The point, his starting point is the 5th floor already.
Right. So can he jump to the 6th floor? Yes. Yeah. No, he can get up.
Yeah.
Okay. Now he's not getting up like freakazoids.
Yeah.
Do, and he's not going to have, for example, Metcalf's abilities on that front. But when they're falling off of you, these people who are trying to cover you. Okay.
Yeah.
You're doing this. They're like fleas.
I mean,
he can make a difference.
If there's anything that you want to see done with him, it would be in a situation where you do a double tight end screen where he and Pat both are on the field, and it's getting the ball to Darnell with a caravan in front of him to where he can just rumbling, stumbling, bumbling down the hashes. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a life to incorporate him more. It is. So what's more, though, too, DK? 400 yards a year? Some starting tight ends get 400 a year.
Yeah, if you go to the Arthur Smith scale, which is probably the fairest way to do this, and you look at the way he would split time with his tight ends in Atlanta, what were they getting? They were in that 700, 600, 500 range, and we're talking about a couple really good ones there.
Yeah.
And Kyle Pitts and Jonnu Smith. That was the way Arthur would split the ball up anyway. And then there'd be a wide receiver, Drake London or whoever, he would just kind of throw in to amuse himself.
Yeah, no doubt.
Mike in Texas sends us into the break here with just feed the ball to Shaq under the basket.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of that there. It wasn't that Shaq could go vertical. It's that Shaq existed vertical.
Yeah, yeah. And what if, you got a linebacker that can come over his back or safety that can play him like Kyle Hamilton? All right. Is it a wasted rep, or is it just the threat of saying that we tried it and we failed? Like, the production that this offense needs this year is through the roof to me, especially this too, like establishing the WR2 or whoever the receiver 2 is going to be. Heck, it could be Pat Fryermuth for all I care, but it has to be established, DK. To me, we're talking about Darnell Washington. He, to me, is probably the 4th or 5th option, but I love the threat of having it. What is the old saying? I'd rather have it and not need it than to need it and not. I'd much rather be in that boat. I think he has the ability, for sure.
Mm-hmm. When we come back, we're going to dive head first into your questions and the only segment that actually matters.
And that's Hey Moan.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
Good. Hey, wow. I'm enjoying this little cold bottled Starbucks. This is good stuff.
Look at you getting an express type. I love it, man.
That's what this is. This is for the lazy man Starbucks here. You order a bunch of them and fill up an entire shelf in the refrigerator, you know?
See, look at Dollar. She's just helping save us some dollars around there. You don't even realize it.
She's shaking her head over there. Even though it's a great economic value.
Well, as long as you're recycling the glass, DK, I got no problem with it.
Exactly. That's all right. That's all right. Let's get into some Hey Moan. I've started a few good ones here.
Yeah.
I started a great one here from Michael, who wants to know, first off, if you've ever ridden the Steel Curtain coaster at Kennywood, which is back, by the way.
Did not ride it, man. Matter of fact, like, I came in on the tail end of the old era too. Like, we didn't do Kennywood as a group. I think they do it almost every single year now with the young guys coming in. I think Marquise's class and above was the class that did, and also after the lockout too. So 12 and up, they did like stay a week and go to Kennywood type of stuff. We didn't do Kennywood like that. And by the way, Mike, I just ain't a roller coaster type of dude.
Yeah. Give me a break here. Let's tell you what this really is about here. Offensive linemen on wooden coasters.
Yeah.
Okay,
no.
That's all we're talking about here. Okay.
Hey, no.
Now I want you, no offense here, to get into the front seat of the Thunderbolt with, Gil.
No.
With Marcus Gilbert.
No.
You guys in the front.
We're offset it. Absolutely not, man. That thing might come off the rails and everything, DK.
Come off in a hurry.
No.
Kenny Kangaroo comes to life as you're getting on going,
I'm telling you, the last thing I see is some brown, the wood beams, DK. Absolutely not, man. And besides, we used to see people get stuck like upside down over there and stuff. Like, no, I paid attention to local news. I know those whole roller coasters will stop from time to time.
Actually, it's the new ones that do that.
Yeah,
it's
I want parts.
See, metal coasters, which is, by the way, with the Steel Curtain coasters, metal coasters. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
You go to Kennywood, get on some wood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What you don't?
You're the Thunder. No, she's not into it at all. Okay.
Dolly's not into it either.
I was a coaster nut. I was one of those people that would just do. When they first put in all you can ride all day.
Yeah.
Dude,
all day.
We would just Thunderbolt done. Go on it again. Go right. One of those, just run under the chains. Get back to the front. Because it was fantastic.
No, it's not. We can choose other ways to have thrills in life, DK. A roller coaster ain't it. Like, I've done the Tower of Terror at Disney, right? I've done that one. And I also did at Universal, I think, also one of those 4D roller coasters where it's virtual and like they put like the water and the wind and all that.
That's cheating.
No. To you it may be, but to my mind, when we went down like that, get me out of here.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm being outvoted here 2-1.
You are. You're 2-1.
I love the wooden coasters. And
by the way,
the Jackrabbit.
Oh, no.
Jackrabbit.
See, you type of folks have a different mental makeup than Dolly and I do, DK.
Yeah. I'll just sit and have a coffee and
Speaking of which, there's one star that I want to get to. Is basically the same thing. It's from my guy Jason. I've seen him access a couple of times.
He's all over you here. What is this all about here?
So
he says, "Hey, Moan, is it true that my man Rob saved your life at Lake? How do you pronounce that?
Lake Oconee, I think.
Okay.
Oconee. So no, didn't save my life. Okay, I
when
never
you came
got
here with Big Ben.
So here's the story. Ben took us all down to Georgia one year, and we got on this jet skis. Mike Adams was with us. This is Gil. DeCastro was there. Was Al around in that time?
I don't know, but I'm already into offensive linemen on jet skis.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so this trip, DK, By the way, his lake house is insane. I see why guys want to be quarterbacks, DK.
They don't just get the house, they also buy the lake.
And there's the classic car in there. And then there's another car in there. And this second, maybe third house he has, even if he still has, is at the point of the lake, DK. And it is phenomenal, all right? But Rob didn't have to save me. What he almost had to save me from killing Mike Adams, okay? He almost had to save me from literally killing Mike. Because you know why? I was bold, and when dudes get around guys, right, and they're boys, guess what we do? We're invincible, okay, DK? So Ben brings out the jet skis. Guess who can't swim, DK?
Oh, no.
This guy.
Oh, no.
So I'm okay to ride the jet skis, DK, because I feel like there's no way this thing can top over. But when I tell you myself and Marquise is going to beat the you-know-what out of Mike, because Pounce is like my brother, okay? And young Michael Adams from The Ohio State, guess what he decides to do? He wants to be a madman, DK, and create waves around me as I'm riding.
Waves. Oh, no.
I want to use so many other different words that we can't use on this family network because Mike could have got a hand to his throat, DK, is what I'm telling you. I'm cussing him out. Marquise is saying, bleep, 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 that Damone can't swim. Why are you creating waves? Here I am just straight ahead. And here's Mike. Wrong.
No.
And I'm airborne and riding this jet ski. Like, I went from here, just real cool, to here on this thing, DK. So, yes, I was trying. Mike could have died because of me is what I'm telling you, DK.
I hear what you're saying here.
So, Jason.
It's pretty clear.
I didn't fall off. But what I'm telling you is this. Mike Adams did because he was falling into his own waves and stuff like that. But I'm here to tell you, Mike almost died that weekend because we could have killed him for trying to kill me. He knew I couldn't swim. Pounce was just like, you idiot. You know if Mom fall off this thing, we're not getting back on. And then he also can't swim. Like,
Imagine how many people you take to get Ramon out of the
no,
boat.
exactly. In the middle of the water with nothing to brace but a buoyancy jet ski. So, no, I never fell off. We went back to the dock and everything was cool. And I was on the boat from there on out, man. I did have on a life jacket, too. Listen, so somebody that don't know how to swim, a life jacket means nothing, okay?
Oh, boy.
So,
Jason
Jason,
Williams.
that's the story.
Jason Williams says, "Hey, Bone, did you ever want to play any other position? I know you did play other positions."
Man, last thing I didn't want to do was play offensive tackle. Like, I didn't want to play O-line at all. I fought it for years.
Whoever says that they want to do that, though.
Now it happens.
Yeah.
Now.
Because that they see the money.
Yeah, like kids specialize in it early. But not really, though, DK. I wanted to be a defensive end or tight end. Guess what my first position was when I first started playing football in middle school?
That would be quarterback.
Inside linebacker.
Inside linebacker. Okay, I thought because all the guys who end up in the NFL, they all start out as quarterbacks on their youth teams.
No, inside linebacker. They just employed me to DK to go knock little kids' heads off. But yeah, I was a menace out there.
I'm picturing the old Peyton Manning Saturday Night Live skit.
Oh my God, yeah, me.
That's you.
Me.
Just wrecking children.
I'm talking about side to side. You hear me, man? But what I will say, though, is I never wanted to play guard either. I figured out it was very advantageous for me to do it. But legitimately, I was just like a tackle. I only wanted to play tackle until I realized being a starter at guard was most important. Yeah.
Sean Manahan says, could Aaron Rodgers check to throw to a wide receiver when the DB is off?
Yeah, when he's playing off coverage, yeah, he could. If he sees checks are always usually included in the offense. Now,
yeah, this is going to be the first time since Ben where you're going to have no questions or doubts about whether or not a quarterback is allowed to do this at the line or allowed to do that. Again, you just don't bring in Aaron Rodgers and say, hey, shut up and be coached.
No.
Okay, that's just that. There's none of that makes any sense from anybody's perspective. It's not about egos. It's not about whatever. Jacob says, hey, Moan, what was your favorite restaurant in Pittsburgh?
Favorite restaurant in Pittsburgh probably was DeLuca's breakfast.
Oh, Toluca. Okay, yeah. I was like thinking steakhouse. What? Okay, no, you go for breakfast. Okay,
I go for breakfast. DeLuca's, man. One, I could say Capitol Grill and all the franchises and stuff like
you
that.
can.
But meat and potatoes
out the door here.
That's what I'm saying. Right across the street. Yeah.
Yeah. Meat and potatoes is a block and a half in this direction.
That's where I was, and they drafted DeCastro that night, and that steak was no longer good. I'll never forget, DK. Meat and potatoes and probably DeLuca's. I take DeLuca's over Pamela's too, although I know Pamela's is near and dear to everybody's heart.
You got that one right.
Yeah. The red sauce at DeLuca's, oh my gosh, phenomenal.
Harry comes in and says, "Hey, Moan, how can you tell when an offensive line coach is below standards? Could this be the case with Broderick Jones and other offensive linemen?" And Pat Meyer is a target. Okay, let's be real clear about this. Harry's dancing around it. I won't. Meyer has to know that. There are, in all sports, there are coaches, positional coaches specifically, who are fully aware that their own well-being and that their own success or failure relies on that one dude. In other words, he could do a great job with Troy Fautanu. No one's going to care. He could do a great job, probably already has, with Zach Frazier, Mason McCormick. No one's going to care. Why? Because you got that first rounder on the left side, and you need to coach him up.
Mm-hmm. And that's where it plays a huge part with Coach Pat Meyer moving forward. How can you tell this one is below the standards? Is when it looks disjointed. Guys have numerous mental errors that we can see. And then you also don't see those jumps that guys need in their careers. Like we're watching Broderick, like now he went from year 1 to year 2 and we didn't see any improvement. Now from 2 to 3, this is a huge year for him, the player, and also Coach Pat Meyer too, because we're going to judge his success solely off the coach, because him being picked in that top 20 position tells me that his pedigree is supposed to be there, and he's also a starter. At this point, he's supposed to be having that type of year. Like, he ain't Panay Sewell, right? But we need to see streaks of dominance from his play, and I don't think we've seen any streak whatsoever from Broderick at all, DK. Like, but I think the talent's there.
Mm-hmm.
How does Pat bring it out? That's what he's going to be judged on. And another way to tell, too, is the group's got to be like average or just above average in either passing or running, or really good at one or really good at the other. And I don't think they're there just yet.
His job's on the line. It just is. Chris Welch says, "Hey, Moan, from what you've seen of him, what does Mason McCormick need to improve on to prove that he can be a permanent fixture on this OL?" I think that's a great question to bring up. I don't hear that one very often. It's almost like we look at McCormick and go, well, yep, he's the guy for the next decade. But is he? What did you see in him?
I would say body control first.
What's that mean?
Knowing how he's moving and how to get there too. I feel like he still plays, and he's still young. I think he still plays like a rookie from time to time, or you see him overextended. He gets there, but it looked like he's tumbling to get there in space. And also his ability to be good side to side is where it's at for me when it comes to him. His control of his body, I think, is the biggest thing. He'll get a little high at times and overextend it. If he can correct that, DK, and stay lock and step with Zach Frazier moving forward, there's no doubt in my mind that he's a starter for at least the next 5 years. But body control to me has got to be the biggest thing. I think he's physical as heck. I think he can move in space, DK, but his movements sometimes still look like a giraffe running at times. You know what I'm saying? Like, it looks kind of elongated. You see it now, don't you?
The baby giraffe.
Yeah, the baby giraffe. And that's all a part of growing up too, DK. I think his physicality and mindset is there. It's body control for him and just minimizing movements. That's what separates guys from being pros a long time.
That's interesting, because he's not really, unless I'm missing something, he's not often tasked with anything unusual. They don't say, hey, go try this crazy pull, the Dave stuff.
Yeah. He has at times. I've seen him pull at times, but I'm talking about like from the line of scrimmage to the linebackers to the front. That's where I feel like he gets long at times, DK.
Oh, John Frickel's going to risk some wrath from Ramon here. He says that Pat Meyer's going to be judged on Jones because the others came as finished products. They did not. Okay. You don't show up unless you're Marquise. You don't show up from college as a finished anything.
I think I know what he's saying. They had a better baseline.
They had a better baseline, but they weren't finished,
yeah.
is what I'm saying.
So, to his point, though, I think he's right on Jones because of this. They used a whole lot of potential when it came to Broderick. Oh, he can turn into this. Oh, he's a perennial Pro Bowler. And we've seen bare minimum starter. I think that's why. Like, you remember when Pounce came in, you saw stuff pop, right? I would even throw Gill in there. Let's throw another tackle in there. You saw pop from Gill from the time, like, his athleticism show up, his toughness. We've yet to see a consistency of toughness, consistent play, or Broderick's athletic ability show up and down the field from time to time. When you drafted that high, you're expected to be eccentric, like no other tackle at your position, and we've yet to see that from him.
You know, it's one thing to say that, you know, people put burdens on somebody. It's another to say, hey, you know, you were the one who was that good that you got drafted.
Pressure's a privilege.
Team traded up to get you higher in the first round here. Our good friend the Pef says, hey, Moan, if Isaac Seumalo doesn't get re-signed or he were to go down with an injury, who becomes the leader of the line? I'm not sure Isaac is that. Yeah, go ahead.
Easy. That's Zach.
You feel that way. That's interesting. Okay.
Easy. You can lead as a youth. You know how he can lead as a youth, too? He's already got the starts under. He's got that NFL all-rookie team underneath his belt. He's expected to be the year 2 starter. And also he fits that team's leadership mindset. He's tough. He's gritty. He's available. He's from the area. DK essentially playing at West Virginia. It's Zach. Ain't nobody else is the answer. It's Zach.
Okay. Jay Moods brings up something that Aaron Rodgers complained about, not in some vicious way or whatever, but this was at the end or after the first day of minicamp. He'd been wearing the same helmet for his entire NFL career. He's been wearing it for 20 years. Now, all of a sudden, as he put it, pretty wryly, he's like, well, now all of a sudden it's not safe anymore. Never gave me a problem. I never got hurt head-wise. Okay. But now the NFL says it's not safe, so he has to change his helmets, and he hates the one that he was using. Now you can imagine the company reps.
Oh my!
Somebody get to Pittsburgh. Get him a helmet. Get him a helmet he likes. What are you doing? How big a difference? Did you have to change a helmet at any point?
I did, but I wanted to because I like the new technology. Like the ones we used to have, they used to just pump air into them, DK, and it just kind of bubbles that form around your head. The ones that they make now are like AI, well, not AI, they're 3D printed. They scan your head, put it in, and it fits molded to your head. You might have to get air in the sides. I don't have one around. You might have to get air in the sides around your cheeks and stuff, but this, in my helmet, it has fitted for Ramon Foster in it. Aaron, I think, wants the old school where you pump it up and like it gives a little bit, probably has a little bit of a wider frame. Guys are very particular about that, and also shoulder pads too. He's not wrong. That's a common DK. That is a very common complaint.
Well, like I said, I'm carefully choosing the word complaint there because it's not like he was whining or whatever about it. It just, I think he was just acknowledging this was real. When everyone's asking him what feels so different being out there in a new uniform and new field, new teammates, he's just thinking, this is all about this helmet, man. I don't know what this thing is on my head.
I bet you Rydell reaches out and get him the helmet he wants by the season.
I'm sure that's been done already. I'll bet it was done by the time he finished his sentence.
Yeah, we used to see the guy come into the locker room, man, and he was very he talked to Pounce, he talked to Ben, he talked to guys, hey, your helmet good? Like, yeah, DK, that's a part of it. But now they 3D scan guys, though. You should see in the top of the helmet formatted for player X.
This might be the best question we get today, and only somebody like you could answer this, Moan. Sticky B says, hey, Moan, does the offensive line feel more pressure to protect a quarterback of Rodgers' reputation, status, level, his having had such an awesome career? Did you feel differently? And you got to answer this one honestly, okay? Because, okay, I mean, it's one thing to have Ben Roethlisberger behind you, and it's another thing when the baby-faced Mason Rudolph came in 2019. Is it the same thing?
No, it's not the same thing. It's not. And it's unfair to the backups, too, because you get so close, so attached, so loyal to the starting quarterback, DK, that the backups coming in is a little bit different. Like there was a little bit more pressure to protect Ben. There will be a lot more pressure to protect Aaron Rodgers from this group because you know what he means. Let's say this. You know what he means to the NFL, right? Screw the franchise. You know what he means to the NFL, DK. That's a part of it. It also means you don't want to be on his list as a guy that got him hurt, DK. It's that part of it too.
You're that guy.
Yeah, you're that guy, or you're that line, or you're that team, right? That plays a huge part in it too. I'll be quite honest. I think that's why Ben felt the pressure to try to make sure we got rings because of how he's like how he felt towards us and what he knew we meant to him and to the franchise. Like that goes hand in hand. Can I give you a quick, honest story about like the backup mindset for us? I'll speak for myself. For an offensive line. When a backup young guy comes in, don't say a word. When a backup quarterback, I don't want to hear a complaint. You are here until my guy gets back. Like, it sucks to say that, and you're my teammate, but you can't be trying to get loud at me. You can't tell me what to do. You're here to facilitate, pass this ball off, DK, and get us a win if you can, because we don't expect much. But don't you dare come at us, respectfully.
Okay, but that does not apply to all backups. There's no way that it could.
Charlie probably not.
Charlie
was good.
To throw Charlie
Charlie's
Badge
good.
Here.
B-Left was good. Like young backup quarterbacks that got to come in, don't say a word.
That's funny.
This ain't your group. You get it though? Like
I do. That's why I liked the question.
There's a level of loyalty to that guy. Because you know this, if we do an awesome job for the backup, the starter's going to look like, what the hell are y'all doing for him? Like, that's my job.
Man.
And most times
this is too much behind the curtain for me.
At least like when we have to work with them in training camp and stuff like that, especially like the young backup guys, like, man, golly, when is Ben coming back in here? Like, Charlie was good, B-Left was good, and I would say even playing for Vic. Vic was solid too because, I mean, the aura that he carried with him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I was going to say, Carol brings up, she says, I think Mason got the respect when he went in, and I'm sure Carol's referring to 2023.
Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit different.
Mason comes in, he's been with the team. He's known these guys. He's great friends with them, okay? He comes in, the team needs him, they know him, they love him, they hated the quarterbacks. Not the people, but the quarterback play before him. And they're going to rally around him. Very different. But he's also Mason has this cadence to him.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's had it since he came in. Yeah, I know, right? Since he came into the league, like he's like the most mild-mannered dude, whatever, off the field. And hey, Moan, how are you, Moan? And then he gets out there and it's like, and you're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
He did it at his first rookie camp. I couldn't believe it. He's like, who the heck is number 2 out there?
Yeah.
He seemed nice.
It's because it ruined the flow. Like, we're all attached to one another in that group. And again, it doesn't mean we're not good teammates and stuff like that. But like, DK, one of the hardest things is being accepted in a sport. I don't think people understand that when it's a team. So if a guy comes in a backup role, like it ain't just the quarterbacks, like when BJ would come in or Matt Filer would come in and start or Hubbard, like we'd be on them dudes and be like, don't mess this up because this is our thing. Like, you don't want to mess up the starters thing. That's why it's always important for rookies to come in, shut up and show us why you belong instead of telling us why you belong. That's unfair to those guys, man. I get it.
When we come back here on the Ramon Foster Show, we're going to take care of a little bit of business.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
Well, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate what you do for the Ramon Foster Show, for the DK Pittsburgh Sports channel here on YouTube in general. The way to become a member is to go to dkps.net/join. or hang around for Carol to drop 10 gifts on you, or for
absolutely.
Matthew to do that. The
See,
barber
Matthew.
dropped a couple of bucks. Sean dropped a couple of bucks. Carrie's always good for one. We're going to have a bonus question today.
Was that too mean, too, DK? That was bad.
No, you're not even. You don't have that.
It could come off as
unless
rash.
you're on the field in Cincinnati. You don't even have that in you.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even see you like that in Baltimore. It was in Cincinnati. You guys were totally nuts in Cincinnati. Like, I didn't recognize half of you.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
The only one who stayed kind of equal was Marquise. And even him, there was something that would, a little bit of some wires would break there with him. You know?
Psycho anyway, right?
That's what I meant. There wasn't any daylight. He could be playing, the Arizona Cardinals on a Thursday night, and it just wouldn't be any different.
It would not. It would not.
Aiden asks, "Hey Moan, what practice drills do you think should be emphasized for each position?" But I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to take it more specifically. Which one it would be the best for a guard? People, because I know you guards have always gotten extra defensive. Oh, you don't have to be athletic to be a guard and whatever else. But what are the drills? What is the one that you would say that's the one that would help me the most, or that's the one that would get me the most ready to be my best self?
I'll put this on for everybody except the quarterback, because that's such a unique position. First 2 steps at every position. For offensive guard, let's go there. No wasted movement is what I mean. I was explaining to my boys, man. I always talk about my sons. I'm explaining to my boys, like, the higher up in level that you go and play, from like middle school to high school to college to the NFL or to the pros, whichever pro you go in, each coach I know that coaches talk about no wasted movement. If you can minimize your wasted movement, think about pitchers, right, DK? Technically, no wasted movement, right?
Can't be.
That's what you speak about. Think about when a batter's hitting, no wasted movement. So for the football world, go ahead.
I was just gonna throw in, as long as you're going for baseball, the first thing that crossed my mind, and Jack Wilson, the former shortstop of the Pirates, now better known, by the way, as Jacob Wilson's dad.
Wow.
Which is amazing, because I still hear from Jack, and Jack's like, I'm just Jacob's dad now, because his son is now obviously this superstar with the Athletics. But he would talk about the twitch muscles, the quick twitch muscles. Okay. And there's 2 ways to look at that. One is that you do have to improve and strengthen the individual little micro muscles that are sometimes hard to access with workouts. Mm-hmm. But also, to what you're saying, if the shortstop's going to get to that ball deep in the hole, there can't be a wasted anything.
No.
The moment the ball is struck, it has to be read properly, and it has to be everything. And this also reminds me of what you just said about Mason McCormick, because this is where all of that comes in, doesn't it? And he's a guard.
Because it's like Dwight just said, the kinetic chain. Efficiency is key to power and health. Like, if I can minimize my wasted movement, I'm more efficient in the way I move. So listen to them. It's 2 steps forward, 2 steps backwards. A running back, when they're lined up in the outfield, 2 steps side to side, that way. A wide receiver, how is this get off at the line of scrimmage? DK, a linebacker, what are your first 2 steps, forward or backwards? Are you attacking or are you wasting moment? If I drop that step back, DK, I've lost a step because I got to gain 3 to go forward now.
Yep.
It is the first 2 steps. How efficient are you in your movements? That, DK, is the drill that everybody needs to work on, that no coach wants to see when he turns on the tape. Because if I got to go right and cut somebody off, DK, if I misstep, that guy has crossed my face and I've lost, or the play is disrupted. So it's efficiency of movement.
Which we could do an entire show on Deontay Johnson on this count alone. Incredibly efficient, phenomenally efficient with his route running. And then he catches the ball and goes the wrong direction. It's the ultimate irony in all of professional sports, the Deontay Johnson route after the catch.
It is. That's what made Shazier so good up the middle, because he didn't waste time getting to you or around you, DK. Troy, think about his play forward, like efficiency of it.
Nah, Troy, I just put him in his own bracket. You don't, come on.
Quarterbacks and Troy.
No, Troy just as a species is like, the stuff that he was doing, I don't look at Troy and say, now see, that's how safety's up. No, man. that was one. You just don't bother trying to coach that.
Yeah. Oh my
You just
God.
leave him on his own little island.
You best believe it. Somebody asked, have I seen Paul Skeens pitch? Is water wet? Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, he got called out for trying to walk off a strike. I saw it went viral.
You know, it happens. It happens. Right now, the caliber of umpiring has, especially for balls and strikes, has never been worse.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You know, and it's now that's what's pushed Rob Manfred to say, you know, next year, that's it. We're doing it.
Wow.
We're doing the ABS next year.
Wow.
You know what it is too. It's not robots. It's you
box.
do the thing. You put the if you're a batter, you put your hand on your helmet.
Mm-hmm.
To signal for an appeal. They do this in the minor leagues.
Oh, wow.
And they did it in spring training, and it's incredibly efficient. As long as you pick your spots, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
You know, don't think every close pitch, don't be appealing them all. But when you're sure,
call it.
Game's on the line, just do it. You got nothing to lose.
Wow. That's
so
insane.
All right, Moan, what you got for us?
Man, we went through it today, DK. Man, y'all know how it is, man. We got the weekend coming.
It's a good show.
It was, man. Y'all know what I say, man. Call somebody you ain't talked to. Buy somebody a random drink, not somebody's girlfriend or wife. Either find somebody else that's single just like you, okay? And do that. Apologize to somebody, man. ELE is what I live by from time to time. I try to all the time, but everybody love everybody, man. Crazy, chaotic world that we live in, man. Let's put a whole lot more good in it than bad. But at all costs, please make it back to us next week, good people. And here's the bell, too.
We'll see. We'll see you guys next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday it is. Peace.